I think a lot of people are listening to this podcast and thinking, why haven't they talked about Jaxson Dart yet? He's the second best quarterback in this class.
Well, we should. He's a quarterback with good technique. He's got good footwork and poise as well. Very, very good ball placement on short and intermediate throws. He can throw with anticipation. He's got serviceable velocity. Did a decent job of processing in college, especially pre-snap versus coverage and blitzes. Wasn't consistent with it. Must get a lot better in order to come through. He did have a lot of half-field reads. I like that he's got experience in different offenses. That's a differentiator between him and Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur has basically been in the same offense. Dart has been in 3 different offenses, and the most recent one, they've added pro-style concepts to it. Additionally, he's younger than Shedeur Sanders by about a year, and he runs. Whereas Shedeur Sanders, when he's under pressure, yeah, he keeps his eyes downfield and he'll belly right up to the line of scrimmage and he'll make a throw. Jaxson Dart will run, and Dart is faster than Shedeur Sanders. Dare I say that the Dart and Jaxson Dart's name is more about his rushing than it is his passing. He is a functional runner. It would be smart for an NFL team to lean on that. And that's obviously something that would be good for fantasy. Clearly not as big as Milroe, but someone who could get you 200-300 rushing yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns over the course of the season. That pads the numbers as a thrower. He doesn't have a cannon. And the other thing that really does bug me with Dart,
I'm afraid that we just lost Dave for good. Dan, you and I can finish up Jaxson Dart and Tyler Shuck. See, I said Tyler Shuck that time because I was not reading the rundown and I was not looking at the letters that are actually in his name, and I was able to just say what you guys told me to. The thing that kind of surprises me is how polarizing it seems Jaxson Dart is. Yeah. I don't really get what it is about his profile that is so polarizing.
I could tell you, in my opinion, what makes his profile so polarizing. It's watching their tape and understanding their offensive scheme. Because as you watch through that tape and you watch the Ole Miss offense, it's very hard in my mind to decide how much of this can translate to the NFL and how much of this is Lane Kiffin being unbelievable at scheming up against college defenses, understanding the field side, understanding how to attack the defenses he's playing. And a lot of that, in my opinion, does belong, in my mind at least, to credit to Lane Kiffin. Now, he's still operating the play, Jaxson Dart. He's making the throws. Jaxson Dart has all the tools. That's what I like about Dart. He can run, he can throw, and he's big, and he has the frame for it. The question remains, though, like how much of this is anticipation that's going to work the NFL level? How much is just Lane Kiffin scheming up things? And I think, Nate Tice did a great job of breaking this down in his evaluation of Dart. They run a lot of the same concepts. They dress them up, and it's very similar to what McVay does to find success at the NFL level, right? He'll dress up a play that looks exactly like a run play, but it'll be a pass play. And then he'll dress it up again, and it looks exactly like the same play, and it will be a run play. And they do that a lot in the passing game there, and I think Kiffin's one of the best, if not best play callers. He's the best play caller I watched of all these quarterbacks, by far, from a design standpoint. So that's the thing, and it's like, as Dave said, a lot of half-field reads, a lot of one-read stuff, a lot of predict something pre-snap, and it's there post-snap because Kiffin figured out the defense. How do I know how that's going to translate to NFL? I don't know. He could end up being a good processor, but that's a guessing game. There's also one other area of Dart's game that I didn't like. I felt like a lot of the times when there was pressure and he would break the pocket, his head went down. That's something I always look for at quarterback. But to be fair, that can be coached out of him. Jaden Daniels had that issue at LSU. When he broke pocket, his head was down. He became a rusher. Then immediately at the NFL level, when he broke pocket, he had his head up and he was finding solutions with his arm. So that can be coached. And I think that's not something I would view as a long-term concern. To me, the biggest concern is just like how much of that was Kiffin and how much of that was Dart.
So it's not so much about his skill set that's polarizing. It's just that it's hard to evaluate him because the system was too good.
It's the processing. It's the mind stuff, because if you can't process NFL defenses, you have no chance regardless of what your skill set and physical tools are.
And no one knows that better than the guy who spent the last 6 years watching Daniel Jones.
Right.
Now, we haven't done the tier discussion for a while. I do have Dart and Milroe in tier 6 right now, in the same tier. And it's pretty low, to be honest. Sure. So I just wonder, would you take either of these guys over Michael Penix?
No.
Would you take either of these guys over Bryce Young?
No.
Okay. Would you take either of these guys as somebody off? You're on the clock. Your turn to make a pick. You need a quarterback. You could take one of these guys, or somebody offers you Sam Darnold.
Darnold.
Okay. Geno Smith,
Geno.
Derek Carr.
Ooh, I think I could go Dart and Miller over Carr.
Okay, so but that's kind of the range in Dynasty between Geno Smith and Derek Carr, two guys who, quite honestly, may only have a year or year and a half
Right.
left of starting themselves. Carr may have half a year, but the fact is that as of right now, and we'll see what the draft capital shows, we don't really have any reason to expect that either Dart or Milroe are going to get a long-term chance as a starting quarterback. They're going to have to develop to get the opportunity, and then they're
Sure.
going to have to succeed whenever that opportunity presents itself.